Alright, Amstrad fans, this is a long plane review for a space gun from Ocean Software, a conversion of the Taito coin-op. And this game is a bit of an oddity and a very special game in that it was really only released and only compatible with the Amstrad 6128 Plus machine. So very limited target market here. And if you don't know what the Plus machines are, just very quickly, Amstrad released in the early 90s updated versions of the existing CPC 464 and 6128 range, and basically made the 464 and 6128 Plus, which had more colours, better sound capabilities, hardware scrolling, hardware sprites, etc., and also resulted in the ill-fated GX4000 console. Rather strangely, this is only for the 6128 Plus, so a very small target market, as I said. And so even if you had a 464 Plus or just a normal 6128, this game would not work. Very strange. And it appears it was only released in France as well, despite being an English language version, both in the game and on the box art and instructions. And by the looks of it, this was Ocean's last ever game for the Amstrad as well, released somewhere in the mid to tail end of 1992. And it's a bit of a shame actually that this ends up being the last ever game from Ocean, because they had a fantastic run of games over their history on the Amstrad. And sad this was kind of shoved out, because actually essentially it's a Speccy port. And it's not a very good Speccy port either. Now, first of all, not many games actually made use of the Plus features that are even sort of released for the GX4000 console or whatever. Here, all they've done, as you can see on the title screen there, you got a nice sort of fading and flashing space gun logo there. But sadly, what's missing is basically music on the title screen, like the Speccy version has, animation on the alien creature there, and there's also animation on the cutscenes, which you're going to see here. And yeah, basically, guys, this is actually a Speccy port. So apart from the fading, nice fading sort of images and colours and stuff, using the Plus palette to sort of nicely fade in and out, the only thing used of the Plus features is the targeting cursor and crosshairs, which looks like it's done using hardware sprites, but that's about it. So but anyway, let's get this game started up. And here we go. As you can see, the crosshair is moving very nice and smoothly around the screen. But we've got no in-game music and some rather crap sound effects. Okay, we should encounter our first alien here. Now that should have burst through the wall like on the Speccy version, but doesn't. And okay, got some very messy sprites. And as you can see, it's yeah, it's very blocky and messy. Now basically, as I said, this is basically a Speccy port. This is pretty much identical to the Spectrum version, minus music and animation on the cutscenes and stuff like that, which adds insult to injury really. But the worst of it is these are horribly blocky sprites. And they look quite good in the Spectrum version. The reason why they're sort of blocky, if you notice, they're sort of almost in chunks of squares, there's sort of a black outline around them. Well, you'll see a sprite again shortly. Is because to get around the Spectrum's colour clash by doing some masking. I mean, they look awful, those little sort of red spiders. You can see all the horrible black outline around them. And you can see the black chunky squares around those sprites. That was basically masking of sprites in the Spectrum version, and literally all they've done here is just not even touched up the graphics. They've just kept the same sprites, not done any touching up for the Amstrad version, because the Amstrad doesn't need a masking of sprites like the Spectrum does to avoid a colour clash. or attribute clash, or whatever you call it. But anyway, okay, this is not the game's biggest problem. I could have lived with the sprites. The biggest problem in this game is the horrible lag. In terms of like your bullet actually connecting with your enemy sprite. Especially when you've got a few large enemies on the screen. You could be firing away and nothing's happening. Now I'm not doing too badly here, but as you can see I've already lost quite a few of my life bar there in the bottom left corner. Now let's just wait and see for another enemy. Well, actually, let's wait and see for a few enemies on the screen. Okay, there's hostages to rescue. As you can see there's one just run out, and we didn't shoot them, so the hostage was rescued. And as you can see, if you see at the top bar there, it looks like we've rescued 4 out of 9 hostages. But there's only those empty sort of like hostage sprites at the top there should indicate there's more hostages to rescue, but they don't appear. And the instructions tell you if they're not all rescued, then you haven't done it, which is strange. Sorry, didn't explain that very well. Okay, so enough about that. Running low on energy there, so we're using our special weapon, which you can select by using the second fire button. Now, did you just notice that I was firing away directly at that sprite and nothing was happening? Look, there we go. Look, I'm shooting away and nothing's happening to him. Eventually he blows up. And I believe this is the end of the first mission, first level. Yeah, okay. You say 4 hostages, no casualties, so you get an extra credit. So perhaps there is only 4 hostages per that level, which is pointless having a hostage counter there. You might as well just have a thing for saying when you've killed a hostage. Yeah. Anyway, cutscenes between levels. Right, on to level 2. We'll perhaps see the problems of the lag in shooting on this level now. Now, it's okay there with just 1 sprite. But as you can see, the firing rate has already decreased quite significantly. And the only way to sort of get rid of these is just select your special weapon, like I've just done there. And they just magically jump behind a closed door there. Nice. I think maybe the way to do this is basically shoot the arms off the aliens and then shoot their heads, perhaps. And I think if you do manage to get that was a freeze weapon there. So I think if you do manage to get a hit on the alien sprite, whether it be an arm or a body or head or whatever, it does prevent or delay it from attacking you. Just to make matters worse, as you fire your gun, you got like a basically the gun may overheat, which is that red bar just above my life counter. That trickles down, sorry, and when it reaches the bottom, it's completely black. Then your gun fires at an even slower rate. But I do like how you can sort of shoot limbs off part of the sprite, you know, and the limbs go flying about the screen. Okay, right. Just to refocus back on the lag issue. And just to say, I have called this a long play, but I am cheating this game. I am actually using infinite credits in the game, and I think that this was the only way to actually beat the game, unfortunately. Otherwise, it's just impossible, unless there is actually a problem with the emulation, and it's the emulation causing the lag. I kind of seriously doubt it though. But I just have to give a quick shout out and thank you to a couple of members of the CPC Wiki forum that actually found the cheats for me. Six on the forum, spelled SYX, thank you very much for the infinite continues. And also Johnny Olsen, who's come through a few times for me with cheats for games. He's got an infinite lives poke, which doesn't seem to work all the time. And it's worth noting the infinite continues poke seems to break the boss on this level. You can't seem to kill him if that's changed, which is rather strange. But anyway, okay, well, as you can see here, it's pretty much impossible because the lag's so bad. You don't have enough special weapons to sort of clear the screen. Obviously we picked up a few special weapons there on the back of the wall there by shooting the icons there. Oh, currently it's giving me invulnerability. Look at that, I shot his head off and he still took a swipe at me, and well, at least I didn't lose any energy. Right, okay, first proper boss battle just coming up now, and this again, another real annoyance in this game. For some reason, I don't know again if this is a bug or perhaps I'm not doing something right, but this guy either never seems to die or just takes absolutely forever to kill. And it seemed quite random. I had to practice this several times using sort of snapshots and reloads, so I couldn't work out how to kill him. And if you notice, I'm shooting him, but my score on the top left corner of the screen there isn't going up at all. So am I actually registering any hits? One time, I just for the sake of it, I mean, God, I must have a sad life. But I spent about 20 minutes shooting him in the head and shooting all the fireballs he fires at me, and he still didn't die. And I had to sort of retry this boss battle quite a few times in this video. So for one of the first times ever, I have to use this sort of snapshot loading and then record from that point. And eventually, just after a few tries, he did actually die. Despite me not really doing anything different. Maybe you've got to basically score direct hits on his head all the time. But I just use a few continues and then use my special weapons on him, like so. And as you can see, when I use a special weapon there on him and got a hit on him, my score did actually go up there. So it obviously registered some kind of hit, like so. Okay, you see my score there jumped from 3,000 to 4,500. Now obviously to defeat this boss, you got to shoot each of its fireballs firing at you, and well, hit him somewhere in between the shooting of his fireballs. And yeah, so I just tried to continue on here, thinking, well, I've used a few special weapons against him already, so he must be due to die soon. So we might be here for some time, guys, on this bloody boss battle, but it just illustrates kind of serious problems in this game and serious programming defects. I don't mean to have a go at the programmer. I mean, I can be really critical and nasty about programming some of these games in my long play reviews and stuff. But obviously, this was kind of a bit of a rush game. I would imagine it was probably destined for the GX4000 console at some point on cartridge. And well, they got the nice palette sort of like fading between cutscenes and levels, and we've got the crosshair moving nice and smoothly using hardware sprites. But maybe it was cancelled, but you know, majority of the port from the Speccy version was already done, in sort of the main core of the code, and there was very little time left to sort of touch the game up. But I found it strange that this was only released in France. But I guess the Plus machines were a lot more popular in France, especially the 6128 Plus. if you're looking for a 6128 Plus machine on eBay, you're more than likely going to find one from France for sale. I think I've only seen a 6128 Plus in the UK on sale about 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years or so, and I bought one of them for a price I won't disclose, but it wasn't particularly cheap. Thankfully the seller didn't know what they had on their hands, but I wasn't going to tell them. So Jesus, this battle is still going on. I think I'm starting to lose the will to live, or at least carry on with this game. But I have done, and it just illustrates how basically impossible this game is. And just sort of mentioning the programmer. Programmer was Damien Stones. The only other game he did on the Amstrad was The Hunt for Red October, which you can find a Longplay review for on my channel. And that was basically majoritarily a Spectrum port as well. So he's probably a very, very talented Spectrum programmer, or at least a Z80 programmer, and was just asked to port the code across from the Spectrum to the Amstrad. And I suppose in some respects he's done an alright job here, but there are some serious gameplay defects as we've witnessed so far. Dear. And a quick Google search of Damien Stones reveals he's still around. I think he's still programming and stuff. So he's obviously managed to forge a career out of it. I think he only did a couple of games, like I said, Hunt for Red October and this one, before moving on to consoles and 16-bit machines. So, alright, well done, dude. Anyway, user continue up there. I'm just use a special weapon for the first time, and we've killed the boss. Explain that to me. I've no idea what's going on there, and that must have been on the 5th or 6th attempt at trying to kill him. And look how long I spent shooting him as well there. Well, you're probably bored to tears already by now. But if you watch this far, we're on level 3, and then there's only 6 levels. Level 6 is relatively short, as is level 3, so we haven't got far to go now. And this level scared the shit out of me. Not because the graphics are scary, I mean they're scarily bad, but that Hydra boss on level 2, he rears his ugly head again at the end of this level, and instead there's 2 of them. I was like, oh no, I'm going to give up now. Thankfully, for some reason they only take a few hits to kill, so thank God for that. You'll see them shortly. As you can see, the lag here is still absolutely terrible. Save a couple of special weapons for the boss about to appear shortly. 2 bosses. And here they are. Jesus, no, not them again. But we used one of our special weapons there and it killed it. Got no special weapons left. But as you can see, as I'm shooting the, when I do get hits on this boss, my score does go up, I think. Does it? I can't remember now. Perhaps not again. Seems to be stuck on 20,580. So maybe there is a bug with hits being registered. Let's see if I do actually kill it from my normal bullets. I can't remember now. I might do actually. Oh! Okay. So perhaps I've not been shooting in the right place. Who knows? Anyway, well, level 4. And by the way, the Commodore 64 version looks absolutely dreadful. Looks like the Speccy version got the best of the 8 bits in terms of conversions. So well done, the Speccy. What else to mention? I noticed there's sort of a blank gap in the bottom right corner of the screen there, next to the radar in the centre. I was wondering, does that mean there is a 2-player option? I haven't checked that out. I'm just about to find out. Just having a look in the instructions at the moment. No, it's a 1-player game. So why have you got that empty black square there next to the radar? Actually 2 empty black squares. Maybe there was going to be 2-player support, and at the last minute they never got around to finishing it, but never bothered to put anything in those black squares there. So just shows how this was rushed out. And just even more strange why, you know, they bothered to add plus features. I don't know, maybe it was Ocean's farewell and a sort of thank you and treat for 6128 plus owners out there, who knows. It's worth, oh yeah, just should note as well that the Spectrum version is 128k only as well. I'm really not sure where the 128k of memory has gone, because there's not all that much really going on. Maybe it's been all used on the large sprites. I mean, the levels do load up one at a time, so no, I'm just wondering, guys, have you been keeping count of how many continues I've been using so far? I think you start with 3 continues. Or was it 2 continues? I can't remember. I suppose you do get a continue at the end of a level if you've not killed any of the any of the people you meant to be rescuing. So perhaps the game is completable without cheat mode. But to be honest, guys, I really can't be fucked. I think this is the only long play I've done with a cheat mode enabled. But you know, I just wanted to get this video out there. There isn't a video of Space Gun on the Amstrad on YouTube, and there's a few people wanting to sort of see it in action on like the forums and stuff, and it's good to see it generally as well. For anyone else. So I thought I might as well show the whole game at least. Just use a few continues, but it also again it just illustrates you know, sort of the how bad the programming is essentially. Well, let's not say how bad the programming is, how bad the conversion was, because I'm sure the Spectrum version was pretty much. I'm sure it was playable. I'm sure it was completable. But I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and it looks like that version still suffers from a fair amount of lag, with basically your bullets actually hitting their targets. So who knows? I couldn't be asked to play the Spectrum version. So maybe even if the Commodore 64 version looks pretty awful, perhaps it might be the best version, because it does seem to play alright. It does look a bit knob. Now the arcade version, these conversions do remain relatively faithful to the arcade version, to be fair. I think they've crammed as much in as they can into a humble 8-bit system. I didn't like the arcade version too much, and it used some very weird sort of pastel-y colours on their graphics, which I don't like at all. I don't like pastels. Ugh. But yeah, basically there's a Taito. Yeah, Taito. I think that's how you pronounce. Is that how you pronounce Taito? Taito? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that was released in October 1990, and Yeah, it's basically Operation Wolf and Thunderbolt meets Aliens the movie. I mean, it's pretty blatant. A lot of the aliens look quite similar to xenomorphs, except they've got 4 arms in places. I'm surprised 20th Century Fox didn't sort of take legal action. I didn't really like the aliens coin op anyway in the first place. A lot of people do, but I wasn't impressed by it. So yeah, this is basically Operation Thunderbolt meets Aliens. Quite a good formula, really. But this is definitely one of the worst Operation Wolf type clone type games I've seen on the Amstrad. Operation Wolf was fantastic. Thunderbolt was alright. And there's a few other sort of target shooting games like this around. So maybe this place is somewhere in the middle. There's a few budget releases like Crossfire, which wasn't very good at all. Alright, boss battle here. I've saved up my special weapons. You've got to score direct hits right on its head, like so, or on its mouth. And again, like the boss in level 2, I had real trouble against that one. Again, spent ages shooting and blasting away at it. And actually, this time on that boss battle, your score actually does go up as you land hits on it, even if you're normal sort of shooting gun. But again, I spent ages and ages shooting it, and I don't think hits were registering correctly, because I think you've got to be really precise with your hits and get it right on the head of the alien. And if you don't, then you're not causing any damage. But the lag in the bullet shooting, you know, again, I keep going on about it, but makes the game impossible. Anyway, essentially this is, well, the last level really. Well, it's actually the penultimate level, and there's sort of a short level to finish the game, which is actually quite a cool concept. We'll see that shortly. And as you can see, the levels don't really change that much. They've all got the same, you know, walls and stuff like that. There was an outside level you may remember, which was about level 3, which didn't work very well at all. I don't know if you noticed the floors and ceilings, even though we've only got about 2 colours on the screen there for the floor and ceiling at the moment. It's actually quite nice, nicely sort of, what's the word, granulated or gradulated, using the plus palette. You'll see on a corridor, actually, when we come to a corridor. Look quite nice. I suppose that's another sort of plus feature used there. It just uses the palette a bit more. Oh yeah, of course there's a radar there in the bottom centre of the screen, which is pretty much useless. And yeah, if your time runs out, it's no biggie. Doesn't cause you to lose a life or game over. You just don't get any time bonus. And the time countdown's pretty pointless. Because I think there's only a couple of areas where you may get held up waiting, and the game waits for you to clear the screen of all aliens. I've only seen a couple of places where that happens. Oh yeah, of course, in the arcade version, you could actually choose your route through this through the space base by shooting like left and right arrows. That's missing. I think that's missing on all the home conversions actually. So there's only one route, so that time is pretty much pointless again. I quite like the border though, those sort of clawed fingers stretching out around the sides. I suppose this could have been a really good game really. I suppose if they sorted out the horrible black square edges around the sprites that they've ported from the Speccy version, and sorted out the lag. in the shooting and the slowdown. Well, not much you can do about that, I suppose, really. Now we'll just probably pass the halfway mark of this level. And I really can't be arsed here, so I'm just starting to use all my special weapons on the on these guys when they appear. I just by this point I just want to get to the end of the game and be done with it. I'm that fed up with it. I quite like the freeze weapon though. It's quite handy. Then it's just one-shot kills. Not sure what those flying things do. I don't seem to do much apart from just hover on the screen. Oh, there's an interesting corridor on this level. Ah, here we are. Where lots of humans are trying to escape. But look, oh no, they turn into aliens. That happens quite a lot in the arcade game. But this is the only point in the Amstrad version where that does happen. I suppose it's a nice little touch, but as you've just seen, it just slows the game down to a complete crawl. And we're still taking hits from these aliens despite just standing there shooting them repeatedly. Yeah, pathetic. Oh, right, here's the boss of this level. He's pretty easy. Basically blow off his arms and blow up his head. There goes his arms. And then just shoot him in the face. And eventually he'll go. There you go. That's him done. Nice. Oh! Oh yeah, strange wibbly wobbly thing. God knows what that's meant to be. I need to go and have a look at the arcade version for reference to find out what that is meant to be. Perhaps that's meant to be sort of a giant alien spider type thing, perhaps? Who knows? Or a giant alien brain? I think you just need to keep shooting it. I don't think there's any place on the alien you need to sort of repeatedly hit. Oh, he's gone. Okay. Cool. Rescued seven humans there. Okay. And right, final level. Hurrah! At last. Interesting concept, this level. Reminds me of the cockpit fight against at the end of Operation Thunderbolt, where the pilot's been held captive and you've got to make sure you hit the terrorist and not the pilot, otherwise you cannot get home. Now what you mustn't do on this level is basically shoot the background scenery. You must only shoot the aliens directly. Now, you see there, right? I'm a crosshair right over that fucking spider, but it's still registered to hit against the background, because as you can see now, part of the cockpit's on fire and sort of exploding. Look, it's registered another hit, even though my crosshair was shooting on that alien. And basically, the more you hit the cockpit, the more it explodes. You can't. I don't think you can make it. Oh, jeez. Right. Well, when you get that warning noise and the danger explode message, this means that you're only going to see the bad ending once you finally defeat all these guys and the final boss. So there actually is two endings to this game, which is intriguing. I don't think you can completely blow up your space shuttle and cockpit here, so I don't think you will die if you continually shoot it, but There you go. But again, this level just kind of sums up all the problems of the game in one, with the basically the collision detection of your gun firing, the lag of your bullets and hitting their targets, horrible messy sprites. It's all here to see on this final level. Even though you got your cursor over the sprite and shooting away, it still registers hits elsewhere or not at all. Pretty awful stuff. But I do quite like how they've implemented the exploding cockpit and stuff. Makes the game look quite dramatic. And if this game didn't have those problems mentioned, this would have been quite a you know, intense sort of like final level. Get the heart pumping and racing. But as I found, the only way to get past this without the cockpit reaching a state where and shuttle where it's going to explode is to only use special weapons against the enemies, so it will make sure it only register one hit against that enemy and not anywhere else. Interestingly, you would have thought using your special weapons would cause damage to everything around it, including the cockpit, but it doesn't. But first, we're just going to get rid of this boss and show you the bad or first ending, which will be coming up very shortly, perhaps within the next minute. We're just firing away at that guy's head. We've blown both his arms off. Special weapons against him, and he should be a goner soon. There we go, there goes his head. And that's us done. Now here's the first ending cutscene for the bad ending. Oh no, something went wrong, the shuttle was destroyed. Shall we give ourselves up? And that's it. It just loops back around to the title screen. So that's it. So that was a bad ending. Not very good. And now for the good ending. So we'll just jump straight into the boss battle there. What I've just done is basically use special weapons only. As you can see, I've only managed to just cause one bit of damage against the cockpit there. So I've just let my life counter trickle down and use up my infinite credits to basically start a new life with, well, a new game with a couple of special weapons. And I've only used the special weapons on the left-hand side of the screen just to make sure. Okay, and there we go. Here comes the good ending. Wow, has it all been worth it, boys and girls? Da, 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 da. We have succeeded in our escape, but who are they and what do they want? This war has just started. When they evade our mother planet Earth, we must unite and fight against them. That's it. Hey, and back to the title screen. So there you go, guys. That was Space Gun from Ocean Software, the last ever Ocean game released for the Amstrad, and the only 6128 Plus game released commercially as well. So yeah, interesting stuff. But not a very good game. I really sort of hate this game. I really hated making this long play. It wasn't particularly fun at all. I'm sort of going to give this a final score. I'm hovering between 5.5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. Well, maybe just nudges a 6 out of 10, just. But I mean, the game's basically unplayable, so I mean, it can't really. yeah, 5.5 out of 10. The game's unplayable without infinite continues and credits, so yeah, sod it, 5.5 out of 10. So thanks for watching, guys. An interesting piece of Amstrad history here, in Amstrad gaming history. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.